Okay, so once again, very good morning to all of you, and welcome to today's edutainment on tax refunds. My name is Cynthia Kerobo. I am from the Tax Education Division, KRA. And today, as we're going to talk about refunds, I'm joined by my panelists from the refunds office. Her name is Madam Pamela. And I'll give her an opportunity to greet us in a few. But before that, we also have our sign language interpreter, who's Madam Elizabeth from the Naivasha office. So I take this opportunity to welcome both our panelists, our sign language interpreter, and also you, our participants, for taking the time to just join in and gather a few insights here and there about tax refunds. So even as we plan to begin, we can give out a few house rules. So we are having the sensitization run for about 30 minutes or so, and then we'll have a session for question and answer. So you can start typing in your questions in the chat, and alternatively, you can raise your hand. We'll be able to give you an opportunity at the end of this sensitization so that you can ask your question or make your inquiry. All right, so I can say it's 9:40, so we can begin right away. And before we begin, I would like to start with a word of prayer. So let us believe and pray. Our Father who art in heaven, we bow before you this morning. We are grateful for this day that you've given us and for the opportunity you've given us to learn. As we dive into this topic of tax refunds, we ask you to give us a spirit of understanding and lead us and guide us throughout the sensitization, and even help us to have that willingness to be able to comply with the rules of the land. We thank you for our panelists. We thank you for our sign language interpreter, and we thank you for the participants who have joined. As we begin with us, lead us through. In Jesus' name I pray and believe. Amen. All right. So I'll begin with my panelist, Madam Pamela. Let me give her an opportunity to just greet us and introduce herself to us. Welcome, Madam Pamela.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Pamela Sidwaka. I'm an officer in KRA working with the funds department, and I'm really grateful to be here just to shed more light on what we do in the refund section. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Pamela. And also our sign language interpreter, I think we've lost her, but I'm sure she'll be able to join us along the way. So without further ado, maybe I can also get to hear from our participants. You can tell us also who you are and where you are streaming or where you're tuned in from. So you can do that on our chat box, and I will also be able to recognize you. Thank you. All right, so as we do that, let me start off with the topic, income tax refunds, and this applies to individuals. So, Madam Pamela, you can just give us an overview of what a tax refund is.
Okay, thank you. A tax refund is is a rebate reimbursement of tax paid, and we have legal provisions on this. We have Section 42 of the Finance Act that we stand upon, and Section 47 TPA 2015. Those are the laws that guide us. And income tax should be applied within 5 years of the date of the overpayment of the tax. And the commissioner should ascertain the refund application within 90 days from the date of application, failure to which the refund is deemed approved. And I think that's the law that's the law that is guiding us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, in simple terms, a refund is the money which a taxpayer can claim from the authority. Is that it in plain language?
Okay. It's a tax refund is money given back to the end of the taxpayer to the end of the period tax period is
Mm-hmm.
where maybe excess tax was paid,
Mm-hmm.
and we shall see reasons as to why this refund comes up. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll give some light on the on the types of refunds that we have. And
Mm-hmm.
as we've gone, we have types of refunds and how our refunds come to be.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just give you a short. Okay, a taxpayer who is eligible for a refund is a taxpayer who on filing annual income tax return, ends up in an overpayment as a result of installment tax paid, advance tax credits paid on motor vehicles, withholding tax, and tax paid in error, that is for pensioners. And even in corporate, now we have overpayment of installment taxes, withholding tax, advance taxes, and now we have whereby still in a corporate corporate taxes we have a stamp taxpayer who has overpaid stamp duty is eligible for a refund, a taxpayer who has overpaid land rent eligible for a refund, a taxpayer who has overpaid in capital gain tax is due for a refund. Now this is just about the entire refund, but now we are going to zero in to our main topic for today about individual tax refund.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Our
Okay, please go
individual
ahead.
individual tax refund. Those who are eligible as an individual is an individual who, on filing an annual return, income tax ends up in an overpayment position as a result of over deduction of tax by the employer as per the tax deduction card. That's a P9. We call it a P9. And the taxpayer who has mortgage, we give interest on mortgages, 300,000 per year. Another person who is eligible for a refund as an individual, person relief granted where employment was granted on the cause of the year or termination of employment. I mean by if the taxpayer has been engaged in the course of the year, there's a refund on the relief. And if the taxpayer left employment in the course of the year, there's a refund because of the relief that was cut short because of the leaving employment, and also joining in the course of the year. Another refund comes in on insurance relief. Insurance relief is on health, medical, on education policy, and life policy. Now, education and life policy should be over 10 years, is when you're eligible for this relief, and it's on the 15% of what the taxpayer has paid. There's a refund on that, and the maximum for this is 60,000 per annum. 60,000 per annum. Another eligible person for a refund is it's called tax paid in error. This is on pensioners who have exemption certificate. Those are eligible for refund. We call it tax paid in error. And another one is on refund on taxpayers who are exempted. We call them persons with disability. They are entitled for a relief on 1.8. That's exemption of 1.8 per annum. That is 150 per month. Any excess amount over 150 is taxed, but below 150, if you have an exemption certificate, that's a person with disability has exemption certificate, you'll be relieved an amount of 1.8 per year. That is 150,000 per month. Those are the types of refunds we have.
Okay, it's quite an elaborate list, and I can see already someone has carried their hand up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if we were able to capture all of that, but
Can still repeat.
maybe you can just come again on
Mhm.
the types of refunds and the eligibility, who qualifies for what kind of refund in those circumstances where a refund occurs.
Okay, let me
Mhm.
start with the individual one. Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, now we have the most of the refunds that we have is on taxpayer, those taxpayers who left employment in the course of the year. There's we call it relief. That's relief. It's eligible for that person to apply for a refund because the person left employment in the course of the year. And if the taxpayer was employed in the course of the year, that's one left employment in the course of the year, there's a relief. Two, those who are employed in the course of the year, there's a relief. Three, those who have over deduction on their P9, whereby maybe the employer didn't tax the employee well, there's a refund after our calculation, then that's a rebate on that. And there's also this mortgage relief, whereby the taxpayer has a mortgage and is running a mortgage. We relieve the taxpayer on that. That is 300,000 per year. That's what we give. And also there is granted where there's insurance relief. So insurance has three categories. There is health, there is life insurance, and there is education insurance. For life and education insurance, it has to be over 10 years. It has to run over 10 years. Anything below 10 years, we don't give, but everything above 10 years, we do give a relief at 15% of the amount paid. And this 15% is up to a limit of 60,000 per year. That's what we do give. And also there's this other one whereby persons living with disability, we give a relief of 1.8 per year, and that is translated to 150 shillings, 150,000, 150,000 per month. So
Mm.
above 150,000, we shall tax the above, but below 150 and below, we don't tax. So 1.8 times 150 times 12, it comes to 1.8 per year. That's the relief we give. And also there is the relief on tax paid in error. This tax
Mm.
paid in error is for those employees who are pensioners and they have an exemption certificate. We give them relief on that because they are exempted. We went ahead on relieving them on that.
Mm.
Thank you.
Okay. Um, Thank you for that. You have elaborated quite well, and I think it's now clearer. Maybe you can also tell us, you've told us what a refund is, who is eligible, and how a refund can occur.
Mhm.
Then, suppose I'm in a refund position, how do I apply for that refund from my end as a taxpayer?
Okay, how you apply for that refund? We apply it through, it's lodged in through iTax at the KRA portal. Because I believe all of us can, if you can file your return using
Mhm,
iTax, you can still the same password that you used to file your return, you can lodge in your refund claim. You file in
mhm,
your return, then you lodge in your claim if you have a refund claim.
mhm. Okay. And is there a way of knowing how much my refund could be? Or is it automatically auto-populated on the system? Do I need to calculate, or do I need to come to the KRA office to be able to be told how much my refund is?
Thank you. The
Mhm.
amount is auto-populated in the system. We don't need to calculate anything because
Mm,
everything is online. Yeah.
okay, so thank you for putting out that clearly, that you can just go to the system and you'll find the amount already there. So you just apply for it under the
Yes.
refunds tab on the
Mm-hmm.
iTax portal.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you can also suggest to us some of the documents that one will require when applying for this refund online.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm,
For
mhm,
let me start with the person who is claiming relief, whereby maybe the taxes were not done well. That one we shall need a P9.
mhm,
A P9. We shall need only a P9 for that one who is requesting for a relief, whereby the tax was not calculated well by the employer.
mm,
For insurance relief, we shall need a policy from the insurance. for this for the year in the year the taxpayer has applied for, and it should be over 10 years, and a P9 from the employer. We need the two documents. For the person who left employment in the course of the year, we shall need the termination letter. We shall need a P9. For person who is employed in the course of the year, we shall need the contract letter or appointment letter and a P9. For the person who was applying for tax paid in error, for tax paid in error, we shall need an EFT from the treasury. We shall need a P9 from the employer, and we shall need let me see what I want. Don't give a wrong information. Let me just get it. We shall need an EFT, P9, and a PWD exemption certificate, a valid person with disability exemption certificate, a letter from Treasury, and a P9 form. An EFT advice is just a proof that this amount was paid and deposited in our account. For the persons living with disability, we shall just need a valid exemption certificate and a P9. Yeah.
And the one for mortgage?
For mortgage, we shall need a mortgage certificate from the lender and the P9.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. And these documents, we don't need to bring them to Times Tower or to any KRA office. You attach them when applying for the refund online. Is that the case?
Yeah, that should be the case, but mostly you find the taxpayers have not attached. But when you are working on them, we usually request for the documents through the email that they give us. And if the taxpayer it's okay if they just apply without attaching documents, but we communicate to them through email. And that's where we find most emails are not responded to. And maybe the taxpayer didn't use the right, or they don't interact with their emails, because every communication with the taxpayer is through the email addresses that was given in the system. So we communicate to them through that. And when we communicate to them, we tell them they don't need to come. It's only that just attach and bring them to us. So there's no need them to come. They just attach what we have requested. Then we just do the processing of the refund claim. Yes.
All right. I think that is very clear. So the direction is the application is purely online. There's no need of you bringing again manual documents to the office, because all these documents are required when you are applying for the refund online. So you just need to attach the correct documents depending with the category where you fall. So that's to our taxpayers. I know we have seen queues sometimes, and we've also received calls from our contact center where the taxpayers are requesting for directions on where to take the documents for refund processing. So today we've known that the documents are attached online. You don't need to bring any manual documents to the office. Okay. All right. So you have explained to us the refund application process and the documents that we need to attach when applying. And now, how long will it take for me now to receive this refund? How do I follow up on the application?
Okay, thank you. From we process a claim within 90 days from the time it was applied in the system. 90 days is the process of working on this claim, which these 90 days are 3 months up to the finance. Now the 90 days are processing. Now when it comes to the finance, that's where now for us we are done with the refund, and we ask the taxpayers to wait for funds to be available for the refund.
Okay. So will I be notified as a taxpayer? How will I know that
Yeah,
maybe?
you will be notified. They're always, every step you'll be notified. Approved, when the refund is approved, you'll be notified. If the refund is rejected, you'll be notified, and you'll be notified with the reason why it's rejected. For if it's for you to make correction, you can make correction, then reapply. And if it's already disbursed, you'll be notice that you'll be notified that it has been disbursed.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I know you've mentioned that one of the reasons why a refund might be rejected is because maybe you have attached the wrong documents, or you've not attached at all. Could there be any more reasons as to why a refund can be rejected?
Okay, thank you. A refund can also be rejected because maybe the taxpayer didn't file the return properly. Yeah, we can reject on that, on those grounds. And also we can reject on the ground that the taxpayer maybe at times owes. And if we say the taxpayer owes, at times we have to confirm the validity of the debt. We just can't do a set off without the consent of the taxpayer. So at times we can reject on those grounds when the taxpayer has not responded back to us, because we give them 14 days to respond to us. So if the taxpayer has not responded, we can reject and ask the taxpayer to deal with the debt that is in question. Then the reapplication can be done. And that's where we always advise the taxpayer to visit the nearest KRA office and find out why it was rejected, and then they can be advised further what to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Maybe you can also explain to us whether there are instances where a taxpayer is erroneously refunded. Do they happen? And if so, what happens next?
Yeah, at times they do happen, and when it happens, there are laws to that, because offenses are always there, and when they put laws, and we know the offenses shall be happen, so we have laws on that. Now there's a law on when there's penalty on relation to fraudulent claim for a refund. A person who fraudulently makes a claim for a refund of tax shall be liable to pay a penalty of an amount equal to 2 times the amount of the claim was. And we have seen this because taxpayers maybe do that. Maybe they might tamper with the P9. Maybe that way is when you can. Maybe those are the few reasons, that incidences that you've come across.
Okay, so the tampering leads to a refund which is processed, and then
Yes.
now the consequence of that is that the taxpayer is liable to. Maybe you can
So
repeat that.
a person who's okay. Let me just the way the law is written. That is TPS section 88. It says that is offences penalty in relation to fraudulent claim for a refund. TPS section 88, it says a person who fraudulently makes a claim for a refund of tax shall be liable to pay a penalty of an amount equal 2 times the amount of the claim. That's the penalty for fraudulent claim of a refund.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. All right, I think we have sort of tackled some of the questions that we receive as frequently asked questions from our taxpayers. And at this juncture, I'd like us to go to our chat box and see if there are any reactions. And if they are, maybe we can also respond to them as we proceed. On this note, also, I'd like to invite taxpayers who might have questions. You can actually just carry your hand up, and then we'll give you an opportunity to ask your question. So in my chat, I can see we have a few reactions from an anonymous attendee, and I'll ask the questions as have been posed. So the first question is about housing levy. Is it eligible for for refund?
No,
Okay.
the moment there's no law for that. Maybe if it comes up later, we shall know how to go about it.
Okay, all right. Thank you for being precise on that one. The second question is this. It's not really. Okay, it's he or she is saying that they're not in the country. So is the process the same for those who are not out, for those who are outside the country? And the follow-up question is that I left Kenya in May 2021 and didn't return, but had tax deductions since I started working in April 2019. Okay. So the question is the process the same, the refund application or the refund processing? Is it the same for people who are out of the country? And what happens to those who maybe worked for some period of time within the country and then left? Are they still eligible for the refunds?
Okay, thank you. As long as they're still within the 5 years, they can apply for it. And as long as the income derived from Kenya, they're eligible for the tax refund.
Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe at this point, maybe you can also clarify about the period from which you can apply the refund. Does it go all the way back, or what is the time frame within which I can apply for my refund?
Within 5 years of the date of the overpayment of the tax.
Within 5 years.
Yes.
So we are in 2024. I can go all the way to
18.
2019,
18.
18. Oh,
Yeah, because
so
of the year from
any
2018.
refund, any refund that I had prior to the year 2018, I cannot claim that one.
No.
So it's between
And
2018 to date, 5 years,
yes,
within
yes,
5 years.
yes.
Okay. All right. So that is clear. I think this taxpayer is within the that bracket because they're saying they left Kenya in 2021 and they had worked between 2019 and May 2021. So you are eligible to apply for your refund, and then you attach the required documents, and then you'll wait for the response in your email, whether it's been approved or rejected. Okay, I'll go to another question about, okay, so this is just a general question about a lost P9. I don't know if we can address that one here.
I lost
Think,
P9. I believe they can go to the employer because P9s originate from the employer because they're our agents when it comes to pay as you want. They're the ones who deduct the employees, then they forward the payments to us. So for a lost one, maybe they can visit their employers to get a second copy.
Okay, I think that is clear. We don't process P9s at KRA. They are done by your employer. So the best person to give you the P9 is your employer.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned about withholding certificates. Yeah, a refund can rise out of a withholding certificate. There's a question about how does that one happen and how is the declaration done for this withholding certificate?
Okay, thank you. The withholding certificates are online.
Mhm.
The withholdee and the withholder, they have the certificates. When we are given a withholding certificate, it's in the system because we talked about everything being online. So when you apply, you can still get it from your system. So that's where you get your certificates.
Mm,
Mm.
okay. So about the declaration, I don't know if you meant for this taxpayer, if you meant when you are filing your tax return, because now that's a different thing. It's not a refund. When you're having a withholding certificate and you need to declare it in your return, then when you're filling in your basic information, you need to declare that you have another source of income other than employment. That is question 7. And then now it will open for you
That
additional tabs for declaring the withholding certificates.
Yes, yes, you have to declare that you have
Mm-hmm.
other extra source of business. Then that one is
Mm-hmm.
already in the system, and it will require you to do it. Even if you don't
Mm-hmm.
you don't put in that you have other sources of business, it will
Mm-hmm.
allow you to move a step, because it tell you
Mm-hmm.
you have to declare this withholding because you had another source of income.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in the system.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. So I can see Langat, you are still asking about the housing levy deductions for the month of January. Um, Maybe we can just come again with your response, Pamela, on the same.
Okay, thank you, Lagat, for that. The housing levy,
Mm,
it was something that we were supposed to be deducted, but now because still in the court, we cannot talk
mm,
about refunding. But when it comes to that, shall be told how to go about it. But at the moment,
mm,
we
mm,
don't have it with our refunds.
mm.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. There's another question about mortgage. So the question is, please clarify on the mortgage category, please.
Okay, thank you. On the mortgage, we have those who have mortgage and they are paying interest.
Mm-hmm.
Mortgage is on interest. So you get relief on your interest that you paid on your mortgage, and the interest is up to a maximum of 300,000 per year.
Mm-hmm.
And the mortgage interest we have for financial institutions that are allowed to do that. We have all the like case we have like a KCB, we have cooperative, we have Barclays Bank, HFCK, all those. So long as now for us we just look at that aspect of the interest that you were charged. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
refund on, and our maximum is 300,000.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you for that. Um, there's one more question on the chat before we can give an opportunity to the taxpayer who has raised their hand. Um, the question is there relief on the NHIF that I contribute?
Yeah, NHIF is not what I said. Insurance is health insurance. There's
Mm-hmm.
relief on that. So when you do your filing your return, make sure you
Mm-hmm.
put that on the when it comes to insurances, make sure you put your NHIF, then you put the amount that you contributed. There's relief on that.
Okay. All right. So I think those are the questions that we have on our chat. We have a taxpayer who has raised his hand, and David Rioba, maybe you can unmute yourself and then you can proceed to ask your question. David? David, are you able to unmute? Okay, so even as David gets ready, maybe we can proceed on with the presentation. And the interesting bit that has come up is this erroneous refunds. So we have some reactions on our online audience watching us on KRA TV through YouTube, KRA TV pages. And I'd like to ask one of the questions that has been posed about these erroneous refunds. And the question is, how does it even happen? Okay, maybe I know you mentioned that someone might maybe alter their P9 in order to favor it for them to have a refund. But are there any? Mm. Oh, sorry for that mishap. I don't know if you can hear me now, Madam Pamela.
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, I don't think we got it. Had you responded to the question?
No, I had not responded. I just waiting for you
Oh,
to come back. Yes.
oh, sorry. Thank you. Maybe you
Mm-hmm.
can please go ahead and clarify that, please.
Yeah, in every act there are such things you can get. There is the erroneous refund of taxes. There is offences, and in life there's always I believe errors there. And about erroneous refund of tax, we have a section to it, that is section 48 of the TPA Act. It says where any tax has been refunded in error, the person to whom the refund has been erroneously made shall, on demand by the commissioner, pay the amount erroneously refunded. You'll have to pay it back. Secondly, it says where a demand has been made for any amount of tax under subsection 1, that amount shall be deemed to be due from the person liable to pay the tax on the date upon which the demand is served upon him or her. And if payment is not made within 30 days of the date of service, an interest equal to 1% per month of part thereof of such unpaid amount shall forthwith be due and payable, provided the interest chargeable under this subsection shall not exceed 100% of the originally due. What this section talks about, it talks about that this erroneous refund tax must be paid, and the taxpayer is given 30 days to do the payment. And if the taxpayer does not do the payment within 30 days, there's an interest of 1% per month or, or part of their of much unpaid amount. So there'll be 1% per month of every amount that has not been paid. But this amount shall not exceed the original amount that was erroneously paid to the taxpayer. I think I'm clear on that.
Mm, yeah, that is now very clear. Um, so I'll go ahead and ask one more question that we have from Martin, and his question is that he had a, he his refund was rejected because of an outstanding liability, and this liability has since been paid. So can he reapply for a refund? And maybe you can explain if the process will be the same, or is there anything different to be done?
Okay, thank you, Martin, for the question.
Mhm.
If you've paid the liability, then you can automatically just apply for the refund. You just take the same process that the other one took, 90 days
Mm,
to pay. Yeah.
okay. All right. So at this juncture, I'd also like to welcome reactions. If you have a question, you can still post it on our chat, or you can raise your hand. We'll give you an opportunity to talk. Because we are headed towards the end of the presentation. We intended to take an hour, so we have a few minutes left. A hand has gone up, and that is Paul. So Paul, maybe you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes. My question is,
Yes, Paul.
what happens when the employer fails to file my returns? Because I have issues with my account in 2015 and 2014, 2015. My
Mm-hmm,
former employer failed
mm-hmm,
to file returns. So
mm-hmm,
when I did my returns,
mm-hmm.
I did my returns, but now there is a problem because the case I'm supposed to pay KRA some money, because
Okay.
the returns
Mm-hmm,
have not been filed by the employer. So I tried to follow up, and I was told to deal with one Evans. who was dealing with the company at that time, but
Mm-hmm.
it has not been resolved till to date. So I don't know what to do because I left that employer. I
Mm-hmm.
have never been assisted. So my account indicates I have a liability, so I don't know what to do. But my salary was deducted, and I think it was limited. KRA.
Okay. Thank you for your question, Paul. So about uh, taxes that were deducted from your end and somehow they've not reflected, and it shows as if you still owe KRA some money, then there's a process called ledger reconciliation where you are required to provide your documents, that is your P9 for the year, so that
Mhm.
it can be like fed into the system. So sometimes it happens where your pay, for example, was deducted, but it has not reflected. So in that case, then you do what we call ledger reconciliation. So what I
Mhm.
can advise you to do, you
Yes.
can chat us. You can give us your number through the chat
Mhm.
box, and then
Yes.
I'll be able to get in touch with you at the end of the presentation, and then we can see how to follow up on that.
Okay. The
Yeah.
the the phone number on the thing.
Yes, you can give us your phone number via the chat. You chat us privately, and then we can be able to get in touch after the presentation, so that we don't really confuse the presentation. We move from refunds, we start to go to filing.
Okay. Okay.
I'll get in
Thank you.
touch with you, and then
Yeah.
I can guide you further on how to go about that. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. So let me check our audience on the KRA TV who are watching to find out if there are any reactions. So you can type in your questions on the chat for those of us who are watching on the KRA TV platform, and then we can be able to air out your questions or concerns. So, Pamela, thank you for taking us through this presentation. It's a bit short, but very informative. I can see there's still that question about declaring the withholding certificate. And I think for this one, for this anonymous attendee, what we can do, we have our sessions on filing, and I propose that we send you an email tomorrow, not tomorrow, on Tuesday. We normally have what we call filing Tuesdays, and I propose we send you an email, an invite to participate or attend that sensitization, where we'll be able to discuss and take you through practically how to declare the withholding certificate on the return. So for our anonymous attendee, maybe you can just share with us your you can share with us your email, and then we'll be able to send you that link to Tuesday's training. So I'll pick the last question from Mutwiri Karani, and his question is, so I'll just read, hello, good morning. How long does it take after someone has submitted his or her tax refund? Okay. How long does it take for you
Yeah.
to receive it?
Okay,
Mhm.
Mutiri, the refund takes 90 days from the date of application.
Mm.
And if 90 days will be over and there's no communication, we shall do a mail to you, just confirm to you that your refund is still in process. And if there's any challenge, we should still inform you. But an application should take 90 days.
Okay. All right. So I think that is it. That brings us to the end of our talk today. We have been speaking to our panelist, Madam Pamela from the Refunds Office. She has indeed a wealth of knowledge on refunds because she has over 20 years of experience in the office, and she has been able to guide us on what a refund is, how it occurs, how to apply, what documents to attach, and even how to follow up, just in case you need to follow up on the refund. So she has taken us through the entire process. And at this point, I'd like to give her an opportunity to give us her closing remarks, even as we end. Pamela, welcome.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. I'd just like to take this opportunity just to thank the viewers, the listeners, the listening to this short documentation on how to file questions on the refunds issues. And I know we are KRA is ready to refund each and every person to ask any question and to sort your issues. So feel free to visit KRA offices for any questions, and we shall be glad to just attend to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, so that brings us, thank you, Madam Pamela. That brings us to the end of our tax talk today. Let me also take this opportunity to appreciate our sign language interpreter, Madam Elizabeth from our Naivasha tax office. Elizabeth, I don't know how to do that. Maybe. Okay. So I feel appreciated for taking us through. And then also to our participants who have logged in on the KRA TV and also live on this call. We appreciate your time and thank you for joining. We'll be sharing links to our trainings. So please, if you need more on this, you can still join to get insights on other upcoming trainings. We have one on filing. We have another one on e-teams. We have others on tax amnesty. So wherever you find the link, please feel free to join us. Also, we are on social media pages, so you can subscribe to our channel, which is KRA TV on YouTube and on social media, KRA TV. So please, you can be able to like and subscribe and even share with others. Without further ado, there's someone who had asked for a presentation. Musombi Peter, you'd like brief notes in form of a PDF to be shared to your Gmail. All right. So we'll be able to make a good presentation, which is shareable to all of us about the recording of about the recording, where you can get the recording. We have been live on YouTube, KRA TV, so you can still recap this session on our KRA TV platform. We'll also share the link there on the KRA TV for our upcoming trainings. Okay, so okay, so I think that is the last reaction. Okay, all right. So I wish you well. Have a good morning. Until next time, I have been your moderator. My name is Cynthia Kerubo, and I'd like also to end with a word of prayer, just like we began. Let's believe and pray. We thank you, God, for you have been with us and led us through this tax talk on refunds. We pray that whatever we have learned this day might be helpful in our lives, and even we may share it out with others. Give us that spirit to be able to join other sessions and even get to learn more on how to be compliant citizens. We thank you and glorify your name for everything. Thank you for our panelists and our participants, and even our sign language interpreter. We thank you for being with us all. In Jesus' name I pray and believe. Amen. So thank you, everyone. Have a good morning, and I will see you next time. All right, bye.